All right, this card has some copper accents in it, which are really pretty with this color combination. We've got an early espresso card base here. We've also got a piece of Rococo Rose and a piece of this designer series paper. So I am going to set this aside. You should have an element like this that came in your kit, and also a piece of Rococo Rose. Now I cut that Rococo Rose so it's just a little bit wider than the nested shapes. So you're going to just center that on this layer so that you have the same margin here and here. Then you're going to grab your scissors and you're going to trim this off. You could also put this in your paper cutter if you wanted to, so that you have the same margin on the end here. Just like that, super easy. So we're going to put this in here, I'd say about this far over. Now if you want to, you could grab one of your wooden elements, pop that out of there. That's going to go in the middle of this layer. So that can kind of help you to see how much of it we're going to let drop off the side here. And I'd say this looks about good. So I'm just going to add some glue to the back of this. And you want to make sure you leave enough room to tuck things in, because we're going to add some leaves to this. So I didn't put a ton of glue up here at the edge so that I could do a little tucking. I see I ran over there a little bit too. Just make sure you have this on straight. That looks good. And then we're going to trim this off. And again, you can throw it in your paper cutter to trim it, or just use your scissors and use the back as a guide. Now this little layer we're gonna emboss, so that's kind of neat. I got my embossing buddy here, and I'm gonna rub that on the front. And then we are going to stamp the Gather Together, and I see that I did not clean it. So let me do that quick. I've got some Versamark ink out here. And I'm going to stamp my Gather Together right on that wood piece. Got a little piece of paper here. Close up your ink pad. You don't want to get embossing powder in it if you happen to lose your grip on it and spill it or whatever. It's a mess. Look at how neat that looks. I just give it a little poof. I see a little bit right there. There we go. Put this away. And then you're going to heat set it with your heat tool. Isn't that pretty? That is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, now from the scraps that are included in your kit, I cut out one of these leaves. This is a little bigger. I die cut this, two of the smaller ones, and then the maple leaf. These are Cajun Craze. This is Mary Merlot. I've also included a little sprig of copper in your kit and a little copper trim. Now let's see how good I can do at getting this through this tiny little hole. You might need some type of a threading device, but I'm going to take this and just tie it in a small bow. And I've left you lots of room to be able to do that. If you want to, you can spread this copper trim out. It looks really neat when you spread it apart too, or you can leave it just like this. Get that nice and snug. I'm going to pull that down just a little bit. There we go. Ooh, that looks nice. Okay. Oops. Let's get our card put together here. I am going to take this and add it with some dimensionals. And that's going to go right here. And then all these other elements are going to come into play. So I'm going to put this one in there, the big one probably in the middle. I might raise that up on dimensionals. I think I'm going to raise all of them up on dimensionals. I'm going to take this little sprig and I'm going to cut it so I have two of them. And I'm just going to start adding these in here. A little bit of glue on that one. A little bit of glue on this one. A little bit of glue on this one. I might have to get out a new glue bottle, you guys. I've been really frugal. Okay, this one's going to go just a little bit higher. Then I'm going to bring these in on the sides. And notice where I'm placing them. Now this one I'm going to mount on a dimensional. And that one's going to come right in here and it's going to cover up the stem right there. I think I'm going to tilt it kind of to the side just for some interest. We've still got this on dimensionals. You don't want this dimensional to interfere with that leaf. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these down and put them at the bottom, just like that. Okay, yep, that's going to work a lot better. And then we need to get these sprigs in here someplace. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right there. And I'm going to tuck this in here, just like that. And a little bit of glue here. And I'm going to pull this one in behind, just like that. And now we're ready to place this. Oops. We're going to add this right here. So this is pretty much in the middle of this nested layer. Make sure that's straight. Yep, that looks pretty good. And now we're going to put our card together. Here comes our Rococo Rose layer. And again, just a tiny little border of that early espresso sticking out there. And a tiny border of the Rococo Rose sticking out there. And then we've got our inside. The inside, I decided again just to add a strip of this beautiful Designer Series paper to carry the pattern over into the inside of the card. And I just thought I like doing this because it's classy. And I don't know, I just feel like it seems finished when you do that. Again, this was 3/4 of an inch. Here comes our inside layer. And I think I'm gonna definitely toss this glue bottle. Yep. You heard it. It went right in the garbage. And there we go. Wow. Isn't that spectacular? Oh, hang on. My little sprig just kind of fell down. It didn't get the glue stuck in there very good. I didn't want to short you on a couple of elements that I forgot to add to this card. So I've got the Cajun Craze linen thread here, and I'm just going to take some and wind it up. I think I'm going to wind it just a little bit bigger. So just take it in your hand and wind it up like this. And I'm going to do it like 3 or 4 times. What do I have here? 4 times. And we're going to trim that. And I've lost my scissors. Here they are. And then we're going to kind of just make it so it's not so uniform. I might have gotten a little bit too much out here. We're going to slide that. Yep, a little bit smaller. We'll get it. Let's do 3 fingers. We don't want too much in there either. There we go. So we got 3 fingers worth here. And then I want to just tuck this down in behind my leaf. Now, of course, you should do this before you get to this point. Because how am I going to attach it now? And what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to use a mini glue dot. But of course, you could have put this in here earlier, and I'm so sorry that I forgot to add that. But if you forget to add yours, this is a way to put it in. I'm just going to take a mini glue dot on my pokey tool here and push it in right there. And that's going to fix that. The other thing that I wanted to add here was one of these designer elements. You should have one of these in your little embellishment pack. And I'm just going to slip that in right here. Now this is the copper colored one. And that really adds a lot to the card, don't you think? This card was designed by Ashley, and she did such a beautiful job. And I just realized as I was editing pictures that I forgot to do that for you. So, wow, big difference. There you go. Now it's complete.